Good morning, Seb here, back with next lesson, next practice, exercise, whatever you want to call this. Today we're going in on the leg bones. Straight after, we're going in with a hot streak. Yesterday we were on the pelvis, and today I'm just moving on straight with the legs. Now the legs seem, looking at the reference over here, they seem like just a much more complicated version of the arms, which actually it's not that much more complicated. I'd say it's fairly similar, but I think it should be an alright thing. I'm not looking forward to the feet. The feet look terrible. This should look like a way more complicated version of the hands, which they're already complicated in themselves. But I think it's going to be a good lesson today. We uploaded a video today with the pelvis, so hopefully you guys are caught up on that. I don't know when this one's going to go live, whether it'll be today or tomorrow, but we'll see. So yeah, without taking up too much time, let's go in and do some practice exercises first. So quick warm up of the hands, which is what I said yesterday I was going to do, so I'm glad I remembered it. So let's do that straight away. All right, so get started. Got the pencil of choice for today is a simple beat up W.H. Smith's 2B sketching pencil. To be honest, now I'm just thinking I should have got some, oh, there we go. Got some spare paper that we don't really need for some of these quick line practices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my whole arm rather than just my wrist like this. To do some lines. We're going to go from one end to the other, and obviously they don't look great at the moment, but we're going to try and keep them as straight as possible. Then I'm going to go this way. This is just to warm up my hand a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. Also, sorry if the light's a bit weird. I'm having to use my normal lamp up top as well as the natural light, because the natural light's not bright enough at the moment. So what I'm going to do is now go inside of these little things and make circles. And we're trying to do one smooth movement to build a circle in each one of these little boxes here. Just a exercise to get your hand moving right. I don't know, I used to do this back in uni when we were doing design, and for the sketching, this was a great exercise. All right. Just a quick warm up. I don't think we need to do this too much. I'm going to do one more. Oh, actually, what I'm going to try and do is a different one. So let's do trying to create almost a square. I saw this one online recently. I was interested in it. Do that. And then circle inside. I think that's how you do it. We can do it again in each one of these. It does help to move the page around when you're sketching. Obviously, oh, that one was terrible. What we're doing is keeping inside, but yeah, just a quick warm up just before we get started. Just get the hand nice and good for movement. Right, legs. Let's go ahead and set our timer. I'm gonna make sure that we can see it here. 0 hours, 20 minutes. All right, now we focus back on here. Is it flickering, or is that just me? Might be flickering. Give me a second here. Oh, that's cool. All right, we'll keep it like that. Sorry about that. Lock it in, and we're ready to go. So the pelvis, as you can see, we were doing it yesterday. We've got it on the page here. we need to include the pelvis in this study. So I'm going to try and make this a bit smaller just so we can focus on it properly. And we're doing just half of the pelvis, so I'm going to do that. Cut it out here, just so we have the rough shape of the pelvis in. I'm not actually the biggest fan of 2B pencils. I don't know, sometimes I feel like they smudge too much, but the line is a lot nicer from them than from HB. But that again depends. As I don't know if any of you remember, I had this one. I had this HB Tombow pencil, which is lovely. I'm gonna get more of these eventually. And that felt like a 2B pencil because it was so much smoother than any HB pencil I've ever used. So it does make a difference what brand you buy, I guess. All right, I'm trying to remember. I mean, I do have the reference right next to me from what we sketched, but obviously I'm not doing this in too much detail at the moment. So it's going in like this. Also, I have a feeling this pencil is going to break on me in a minute. It feels very wobbly. But we'll go in with the rough look here. Fill in the darker bits. All right, got the hole here. And this part here, this is the interesting part. Let's see if I did that right. Yeah, so there was a bit here, if you remember from last time, which I was drawing, which was very strange. It was like an indent, which this indent is important here because this is where the actual bone structure starts to connect. And this is where we go off of the bone. So, just to follow the reference, again, hope you guys are using your references. Pelvis to leg ratio here is wrong, so I'm going to redo that. This should be much smaller. If the pelvis is this small, this needs to be much, much smaller. It's proportion. Proportion is a very important fundamental, and I feel like it's something that we should actually cover at some point. So it's much smaller. So I'd say about this size. I don't usually do these drawings this tiny, so bear with me. Right, yeah, that makes a little bit more sense here. So we're going off here. Gonna have to move up the page in a minute because I've already done it wrong. But yeah, let's do that. The bone here connecting to the knee is a lot different than the one we had in the arm. We have more or less a similar shape because if you guys remember, it was going inwards like this and then outwards when we did it. So still got that happening here, but this time we have the, okay, I can't see the name, but there's a bone here that actually sticks out like that, which is, if you guys feel your knee, you can feel that clearly, like at the top of your knee. So this is the bone that we can feel there. And then that builds up into something like this here. So fairly simple structure, right? It looks like your typical bone from a cartoon, I guess. Where cartoons you have like this sort of bone structure there. Not to spend too much time on it here. Draw the rest of the pelvis in, just so we know where we are. And if we remember correctly, it looks like a male pelvis from yesterday's practice. This the reference I'm talking about here. Let's move this up a little bit. I'm going to use my trusty rubber to hold this up. There we go. So since we're here, where we have the knee, now we're going to have the connecting part. So the lower bone, which almost has, it looks like a coupling. So this is going in like this, and this is going in like this. So it looks like they're going to connect together. So remember that whenever we're drawing the bones down here, is that we're almost building them like a Lego piece. And this is another large bone here. I want to run off of the page. Also, now I'm going in the wrong direction here. Don't want to be going there too much. Put the rubber back into place. From what I see, this bone is more straightened out in the reference, whereas I was going in a little bit too much. And we get to the bottom. The bone structure here is a little bit different. Again, we're creating Lego pieces here that are going to connect together. This is a lot longer on the reference. I feel like yeah, there we go. I should have a more precise eraser somewhere here as well. I'll just use my other pencil for the moment. Oh god, yeah, this it's not going the way it should be right now. There we go. So we got the bone here, and we have the same thing happening here as we have in the arm. There's another bone that goes off to the side. Almost like this. It's definitely a mistake making it this small, I think. I think we might have to zoom out a little bit. I'm gonna put the rough shape here of the foot. How's it looking on there? Yeah, we'll put the foot over here. All right, it's not looking too bad, I guess. This bone here should be a little bit more inwards rather than as thick as we have it looking right now. I've been really wanting to purchase some black wing pencils, but here in Poland they're not as readily available as in other places, so I don't know if I'll be able to get hold of them, but at some point I might look into it. At the moment I'm using what I have. So we have the connecting, is it the meniscus again? I don't know, I should have looked it up. And then we start connecting to the foot, which I don't know why my reference decided to close here. Yeah. I've got some music playing in my headphones just so we get a little bit of enjoyment, but today I just feel like that. Usually I wouldn't be listening to music for this because I wanna be taking in the full thing, right? Full on concentration. Today we're being a little bit more loose, which you could probably tell by the drawing. It doesn't look very precise at the moment. But now we're building the foot, which I'm going to move this up for you guys so you can see it. Foot is terrible. Look at that. There's some strange shapes. Like I said, it's just a more complex version of the hand. I can almost make this easier for myself. Let's see if I can... Oh. See if I can get the basic shape in here. And then build from that. These are all put together. They're almost like very long fingers. Again, we don't have to be mega accurate here, just as long as we're getting the basic shape of it. Looks kind of like some weird creature's foot at the moment. This is what we were talking about before with choosing your style, right? Choosing what you want to show the most and what you don't want to show the most. Yeah, I would say that's as accurate as we're going to get in this little drawing here. How much time have we got left? We're on 10 minutes left here, so we've kind of done the rough sketch of it. I think now what we're gonna do is just try and get a little bit more accurate with it. I'm actually gonna change the camera angle for this because I don't think I'm getting enough of the page on here. So I've taken off my beloved drawing desk edition thing, and I actually kind of think this is a little bit of a better angle. Oh, I need to. Oh, okay. It's a bit more delicate, but we'll have a go at it and we'll see. Otherwise, we'll just adjust for the next episode. But let's get into a little bit more detail here today. Well, now. I'm gonna try and get a close-up of everything that's going on over here first. So, see, again, we're gonna go in with the practice for the pelvis. Breaking it down into simple shapes. This is where the leg will connect. And after that, we're gonna go down here into this. And this is where it'll connect further on. Hopefully it's not jiggling too much, the whole thing. This might be, might need a better solution. But that's the thing with traditional work is a lot harder to record than digital work, because on the computer I can obviously just share my screen with you guys and it is a lot easier. But that being said, I enjoy doing the traditional stuff a little bit more. I don't know why really, but it's just what's been singing to me lately. All right. And as you can see, we're using a different pencil at the moment. It's a monograph from Tombow as well. Very, very nice and cheap mechanical pencil. I do recommend it. We're going in here, showing a little bit more detail of how this is all connected. And we're trying to keep to the proportions as much as we can. We are creating the structure of the pelvis here again. Sorry, I just got distracted. It looked like there was some snow outside, but it was these leaves that just like floating around. It's either leaves or some sort of butterflies. That looks pretty cool. It would be cool to go outside for one of these at one point. I've been thinking about that lately a little bit. So I'd try and see if we can get one of these in the outside or in the car. I would love to do something like this in the car, just to challenge myself a little bit and do something a little bit different. I think it would be definitely cool to get one of these videos in the car. All right, we are building this up here. I don't have a full vision of what I'm doing here, so hopefully that looks good for you guys. I'm just checking. But let me know what you think of the camera angle. You can always change it back in the next episode. Cool. How are you guys feeling about these episodes overall? Is this something you enjoy? Is this something that's helping you out? I think it's a good thing to be doing, even if it doesn't at the moment get the most amount of views. I think it's an important journey that I want to get through and an important thing I want to practice, because this way I will be able to build my general credibility as an artist, learning all of these things and being fully knowledgeable in them. And in the meantime, I'll get to practice with you guys as well, which I think it's great. I'm planning on talking about some stuff in a podcast episode soon as well. Definitely need to get on that. Like I mentioned in a previous one, I've just been enjoying doing these a great amount recently. So the other stuff's kind of been on the back burner, but use need to get back to them eventually. Right. Hopefully you guys can see this part. Let me just double check with it. Oh yeah, no, we've got a pretty good view here. This is pretty good. So we're obviously at a much more close up of this whole thing going on, so we can try and discover a little bit of the details here. Building the bones. Great way to be spending your Sunday, by the way. Just get some practice in. Usually it's a free day for a lot of people. Then again, I wish that one day these days won't have a meaning. Every day will be like a Sunday where you would just get to do something that you love and teach people to do the same thing. And we'll get to a stage where we can just sit down, do some beautiful drawing, and let that be it. Let that be our day. Now, I've already got the timer going off for the 20 minutes, but I think we'll take it a little bit further today. Just a little bit, so we can finish this. I've got a kneadable eraser here for those asking. Oh, asking or wondering. I mean, no one's asking at the moment. Reminds me, I could do a live stream of this one day. That's something as well. Then you get the full raw, uncut. Even though I don't really cut these up at all because I kind of want them to be like that. I almost want these to be like a live stream for you guys, but one that you can just skip through anywhere you can go, anywhere you want. I mean, take out what you need from it and practice and go about your day. But you can see we are building this very well here. Got a little bit more vision on it this time because we're not drawing something tiny. This is much bigger, so we get to develop more detail inside of it and develop more knowledge around it. That being said, the foot still sucks, and I'm gonna do a rough image here for it. But the main goal here was sort of explore this. Now, I think at the moment we're in a good stage. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to see how the leg would go over this. So let's see if I can quickly find myself a nice example of what that would look like. So I've got the leg bones. All right. Good, great one here. So if we were to think about this as a human body, so the pelvis also is roughly around the waist, and the waist goes to about here from what I can see on the reference. And then after that's where the leg starts building out. So we'll go inwards like this. It's a bit of a weird position for the leg at the moment. I think it almost goes more inwards looking at the reference. Anyway, we'll correct course afterwards. We have the muscles going inwards like this. I reckon we can remove this bit. It'll look better that way. Go inwards here. That is going around this bone here is where the leg is coming in. And we have the calves around here. Look at that. I know a name of a bone, a muscle. That's pretty impressive. And then have that going around here. It may look very weird here. The reason why is in the reference, the body is in a different position. So it will look a little bit weird around here, but more or less, this is sort of what we're looking at in terms of the muscle being built about around it. But obviously, this is something that we will get onto as we go further into this. I'm very excited to go onto the muscles now because the skeleton is a tedious one. I'm starting to think maybe we could have worked this all backwards or not. No, I think it's a good way we're doing it. So let's have a look at what we've done here. We've got the bigger structure here. I'm going to fill this in just so it's a bit easier to look at. I want to fill this in with green so that we know what we're focusing on. Just very roughly. Don't need to be too accurate here. Probably going to break this in a minute. And I'll get some of my Copic. There we go. C3. And we'll go inside the bone. This is going to bleed onto the next page, but it's all right. We'll fill this in. Just so we know what we're focusing on here. Do this a little bit lighter. This will help us see this further when we come back to it. And do I have my... No, I did have it here somewhere. No, this is the wrong one. Darker. I need a different color. Do I have a different color on me? That's a good question. I think the answer is no. As usual. But hey, it's alright. We'll highlight the meniscus in a different way, which the meniscus was around here. Do that a dark color. It'll be nice to start using some different pens and stuff for this, because in general, myself, I do want to practice using the brush pens more because they're probably my favorite. However, they are extremely difficult to use. So now this is where like the meniscus / connective tissue, I don't know what it's called properly, is located. Just so we know, for good measure. Here as well. Yeah, no, I could do this one day. This would be fun. Good practice. You have to be very delicate with these if you want to have a thin line. Anyway, before I get carried away, I think this was a good thing to look at. It's obviously a complicated structure again, but definitely one of the easier ones that we've looked at. I reckon next lesson we can have a look at building the entire skeleton, but we'll see about that. I'll see how I feel about it. Right. So I think that does it for today. It was a simpler one again, but we do have to practice these things. Even when it starts getting a little bit more tedious. I think this one was an important one, especially, and the pelvis was definitely an important one because it's a big connective point of getting the torso and the legs together. So we've done that practice and it's looking good. So hope you've gotten along with it as well. Let me know in the comments if you're having any troubles with these, or if these explanations or anything I'm doing are lacking in anything, just so I can improve them for you guys. But if anything, good job. I'm sure you did very well in today. And yeah, we'll pick this up again next day, where we will look at either the foot in detail, or we'll move on to putting some muscles on, or we'll continue with the skeleton and doing the whole skeleton together. But I think since we've broken it down, I don't think we need to go over the full skeleton, but we will see. We will see. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Hope you have a good Sunday. Make sure you draw plenty and rest as well. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.